Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we will continue with part 95 of the Lamborghini Aventador project. Okay, so continuing on from the previous lesson, I'm going to keep working on the leg of the rear spoiler. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, well, basically I think all the surfacing is pretty much done. I still need a few more details, so let's go ahead and do that. I do need to add this piece over here, so let's go ahead and add a little bit more surface and work on that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a freeform blend over here. I'm just going to connect the dots over here. Prompt proportion, yeah, 0.05 I think should be good. It's got a span, so I'm just going to say explicit control, make it degree 5 and get rid of it. Okay, so this surface over here, I think this piece, I don't know what it is. I think this is just some kind of bolt attachment. It kind of looks like a camera, but I highly doubt that it is. So I'm just going to take a look at it. Okay, yeah, I definitely do think that it's some kind of bolt attachment. So let's go ahead and, well, first of all, delete the construction history over here. And let's go ahead and make that. So I'm just going to grab a curve like this. And I think this one is going to be somewhat straight. And let's go ahead and delete the guidelines first, like this. And let's go ahead and bring this down, rotate it a little bit like this. I'm just going to make sure that the proportions are good. Now this piece is supposed to be separate, so I'm going to try and make it look like so. And I do think there's supposed to be a line there. Yeah, I see that right here. So first of all, I am going to separate this piece. So let's grab this curve and I'm just going to move it back a little bit so that we can see how much we need to trim. And let's do a little bit more. And I'm just going to project. Grab these two, project it from the side. And let's go ahead and project this one from the side as well. And see if that'll work. I think it might need to be a little bit wider at the bottom, or I wonder if it needs to be just wider, period. What I could do is I can just make the whole thing wider. Or I don't know if this is supposed to be a little bit separate. I think I might need to do that. Yeah, I definitely do think that this piece is a little bit wider than the other piece, and it looks like the line is a little bit different too. So if that's the case, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to separate the pieces. So I'm just going to cut this one vertically. So there are a couple lines here. So there's this piece over here and there are two lines. So let's grab this one over here like that for the second line over here. And I'm just going to vertically cut the other one. So I think this should be good. So let's go ahead and project. So I'm just going to grab all those. I'm going to project these ones like that. And I do think that if I look at this image over here, I see that it's getting a little bit wider. So I think this is supposed to be not a same surface, but a different piece. So let's go ahead and I'm going to, well, before I do that though, let's do this. I'm just going to duplicate the edge over here as well. Actually, you know what? Let's do a fit curve. I'm going to do a degree 2. Let's snap it over here. Do the same thing over here. Make it degree 2. Snap it over here. Let's go ahead and delete the construction history. and I am going to trim this one. Actually, I can do this. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using a little bit different method. First of all, I am going to make this a little bit wider. So I'm going to center pivot. I'm going to make it a little bit wider like this. Probably the same, about the same width as the top. Now there is looks like there is a little bit of skew because the wing has to follow the line of this one, which is fine. However, let's go ahead and I'm going to delete the curve and surfaces over here, like these ones. And I'm just going to do a trim convert on this piece. So I'm just going to do a trim convert like that and do the same thing on the other side. Delete these curves and let's do a trim convert. And as far as this piece goes, I'm just going to trim that off. Now, I'm just going to make sure before I proceed though, I'm just going to make sure that it is actually positional, because trim convert sometimes shifts it a little bit too much. So, okay, so both of those are, which is good. And now I'm just going to check the width. I'm going to snap a curve here. Oh, I guess that's kind of pointless because it's skewed. So, well, let's just eyeball it. So I'm just going to scale it back down a little bit because I think it's a little bit too wide. Let's copy and paste to make sure that it's okay. So it doesn't looks like it needs to be a little bit wider. So if that's the case, let's go ahead. Well, let's grab some measurements. So I'm just going to snap a curve. Not the snap a curve. Just measure 13 mils. And this one looks like it's 11. So I'm just going to scale it. Hopefully it follows the dimension. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's grab the distance again. 11.9. A little bit more. I'm just going to try to make it 13. Maybe a little bit more as well. Hopefully that's good. Okay, so looks like it's about 12.9. Well, yeah, I would say it's close enough. So let's, well, actually, you know what? Let's make it a little bit wider. Just gonna make it a little bit wider. And what I'm going to do is, because right now, at least in this image, it looks like it's actually a triangle sort of shape. So I'm going to, let's grab the stretch tool. I'm going to snap the curve here, and I'm going to snap a curve here. And I'm just going to align this piece over here to this curve. Oh, let's go ahead and I'm going to align this piece over here like that. Now, extra zero, it's just going to be 1 because I do want to keep a somewhat of a square proportion. Now, that does twist the surface a little bit, but I think it's also doing that over here. Well, it has to. So I think that's going to be okay. And I am going to adjust this one as well. So let's go ahead and trim this piece over here. And I'm doing a freeform blend over here and over here like this. 0.05 should be good. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just do a bi-rail to make sure that the edges are fitting nicely together. Okay, so that's good. And now let's, okay, so I think the proportions are a lot better. And with the trimming, that should make everything nice. Everything make it look like the picture. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this piece over here, and I'm going to have to trim the top as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to grab these two surfaces. I'm going to trim at the top. And let's take a look. Okay, so it does look like the proportion should be a little bit lower. So, and actually I do feel like the angle is pointing downwards a little bit. So I'm going to make the front face fit first before I make any adjustments to that. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to, well, this one is not going to have any crown. So let's turn it off like this. I'm going to extend it at the bottom. I'm going to extend it. Whoa, that might be, Well, let's take a look, because I think this angle is actually going that way. Yeah, I think the angle is going that way, so maybe that's okay. All right, let's try it. So I'm just going to grab this curve. I'm going to snap it over here like this, and I'm just going to rotate it up. Use the stretch tool. I'm just going to move it up like this, and basically this is what I'm going to do. And let's trim it and take a look. So first of all, let's discard this one, and I'm going to discard this one, and I'm going to be doing the same thing over here, projecting this one. Now looks like it needs to be intersected, but this should at least temporarily should give me a pretty good idea of what it needs to look like. And let's go ahead and cover the top as well, and cover this one like that too. Well, you know what? That actually doesn't look that bad. So I think I'm just going to stick with it like that, and just call it a day. Okay, that's it. However, I do need to do a little bit cleanup, so let's go ahead and do that. I do think that with the top one has a little bit of crown, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down a little bit more, and I'm going to just give it a little bit more crown on the surface. Proportional 0.05 should be, I think it should be good. Just going to extend this one over here, and let's go ahead and intersect. Actually, while I'm at it, let's intersect this one too. So I'm going to untrim over here. I'm going to intersect this piece with this one, and I'm going to just trim and trim. So that's good over there. I'm just going to leave it like that for now, because all these separations are for later, when I'm doing the final details like part breakups. So I'm just going to leave that like this. However, I am going to separate this piece. So let's untrim it. I'm going to say divide, and same thing over here. I'm going to untrim. I'm going to say divide, and these two pieces can be gone. Okay, so that looks, that's actually looking pretty good. Pretty close to the actual wing. Okay, so I think that looks good, and let's go ahead and do some fillets. Okay, so for this one, what I'm going to do is, I'm pretty sure because of the angle, well, let's try it first. So chord is going to chord G2, chord length of 10, form factor on, I'm just going to leave the form factor on 1. I'm going to say edge line. Oh, actually that fillet looks pretty good. I thought because of the, yeah, that actually looks pretty good. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Yeah, I think this is going to be a more determining factor in deciding how big this fillet to be. So I think I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger, maybe 13. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at some, well, actually, you know what? In this image, I think it looks a little bit bigger. And I do feel like this one actually looks bigger too. So let's go ahead and make it a little bit softer. So instead of 13, maybe I'll go 15. I might even go a little bit bigger than that. I think it's starting to get close, the size wise. Maybe I'll just go a little bit bigger. So maybe I'll do 18 like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, you know what? I think it does look quite a big over here. So I'm just going to make it a clean 20 and call it a day. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right, so 20 here, 20 on the other side. However, looks like they both have span in the middle. So let's see if I can clean that up. For this one, because it's only got, well, actually, let's try this one first. I'm going to say Bezier. Oh, that separates into two, so never mind. Okay, so I'm just going to align this one over here. It's going to be G2, blending will be turned off, position influence to max, span will be 1, and I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other side. That's actually, oh, okay, so that does have a Okay, so that needs to be fixed. So I'm just going to undo both sides. I'm going to grab these and these over here. And I think I have to do a little bit of manual build. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this edge and that edge. Same thing on the other side. And because it is straight, I'm just going to undo. Actually, let's delete that. I'm going to untrim over here, untrim over here, delete the curved surface there. And I'm just going to connect the dots like this. And I'm going to just redo the fillet using square. Okay, so the proportions done. I just need to project. So I'm going to grab these two, grab the curves, project from Y. Same thing over here. Grab these two curves, project from Y. And I'm just going to trim. Oh, that's divide. So let's just delete that. For this one, I'm going to say keep, keep, and keep. Okay, so that looks good. Delete the curves there. And using square, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is curvature, 3 is curvature, rebuild on both sides. That doesn't do it, so explicit control, 5 and 5. And let's just turn rebuild off. That's interesting. Okay, so it says curvature failed. I'm going to take a look at why. So, but let's, oh, it's the same thing on the other side. Okay, let's find out what's going on. So I'm just going to grab the surface continuity tool, show max label, show come on. Oh, that's interesting. It's actually failing position. Okay, so if that's the case, align will do. Position influence to max. That's not exactly what I want. Okay, well, at least it's curvature down here. The CV structure is not exactly clean. But, well, oh, okay, so it looks like that one works. I wonder why this one and on the other side doesn't. So this one's good. I wonder why this one works. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to... Oh, there we go. Project works. Position influence. Yeah, I think I can revert it back. Oh, there we go. Right, so if that's the case, I can just delete the construction history over here. Delete the curves. And because there are... double curve on certain surface, I'm going to delete the previous one, which is 6 in this case, and I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so that looks looking good. And now let's do the fillet over here as well. Okay, so in order to do that, let's just strike a curve. This one, I think I can just connect the dots like this with just a straight curve, because the crown value is pretty similar between the two. So the intersection should be pretty similar, but it looks like it's got a little bit of curvature. If that's the case, I probably need to adjust that. I wonder why. This is a 0.05. Okay, well, doesn't really matter. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to delete these curves, and I am going to intersect this piece with this one. I'm going to grab fit curve over here, and I'm going to delete the construction history over here, and I'm going to move the pivot. Oh, looks like it's a little bit short. That's okay. I can just extend it a little bit. I'm going to move this one over here, copy and paste, move it here, and using the stretch tool, I'm just going to snap it here. And I'm going to snap the bottom one here. Okay, that looks good. And I'm just going to project. I'm going to say normal or view, doesn't really matter. Delete both. I'm going to trim and finish it with a square. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. That looks nice and soft. Nice transition over here. Yeah, I do definitely think that it's actually a little bit bigger than what I thought it was. So that's good. Well, bigger the fillet, the softer the transition, so that's good too. For this one, let's find out what the intersection looks like. So I'm just going to untrim this one. Delete the curve on surface. I'm going to extend this piece, and let's go ahead and intersect both. And using the fit curve, I'm going to just snap it here. Delete the construction history. Snap one here, snap one here. And let's go ahead and use a stretch tool to line it up. Okay, so let me just go back to this one. Now it does look a little bit tighter on the front one. I don't know why, but I'm just going to make it simple and just put a decent sized fillet there. Now it could be, it's quite possible that it's due to the carbon fiber wrap, because carbon fiber is not exactly a tooled piece. So it's wrapped, so it can be a little bit, it's quite possible that it has a little bit of odd shape. Okay, so that's good over there, and this actually does need quite a generous fillet, so let's do that too. So 20, yeah, I think 20 looks good. And let's go ahead and just trim it over here and over here. And the rear also needs a fillet. So for this one also, I'm going to be putting a surface that has a little bit of crown like this. And let's go ahead and put a fillet here. I think 20 is also good on this one. Nice and round. I'm going to project it from just using normal, and there it is. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done with the wing. Okay, so there's still a little bit of work to do down here, but I think at least just so far as the spoiler goes, I think we are done. Now there does need to be a fillet, and I don't know if I should call it a minimum fillet or a styling fillet, but I think I'm going to do that a little bit later. Let's just take a look, and that looks pretty nice. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call that done. This was a little bit shorter video, but we were able to wrap that up. In the next part, I'm not quite certain yet what I'm going to be working on next. I'll probably move up forward and maybe work on the front or the side, but the vehicle is getting closer and closer to being done. Okay, so that's it for part 95. We will continue in the next tutorial, and thank you guys for watching.